Good evening, Geminis. Welcome back to Will's Cartomancy Tarot. What I like to do for you is to do a relationship specific based reading, which will be in effect from now until the end of the month. And Geminis, to save down on some time, I've already shuffled the cards and have displayed the layout as we see here using the Zombie Tarot deck. Okay? Let's go on and make a few general observations prior to actually getting into this reading. We see that there is a predominance of major arcana cards there. So this card is telling you, Geminis, that destiny seems to have a play in your life and in your course, and also with your affairs. You know, this predominance of energy says that it's really time for you, Geminis, to kind of, use your head. And not the heart, and really to apply the reality principle and really to begin to cut through illusions, red tapes, and doubts, and to really focus on, what really needs to be carried out. And the way that these majors seems to be, will be affected in this is you have a bunch of hazards here, or either Pentacles card. So this would also suggest that because, more than likely, Geminis, you have been working on long-term goals and perhaps have faced many setbacks. And these cards kind of offer hope that all of your efforts are, in fact, going to bear fruit. Okay? Let's go on and look at a few interesting combinations that I'm seeing here, Geminis. Okay, we have the Sun card there. And let's combine that card with the, let's see here, the Six of Hazards. Okay? And so that shows that a new relationship is forming or will come into being shortly. Okay. We also have the Six of Cups here. And we have the Queen of Hazards. Okay. So Gemini, this shows someone around you possibly has romantic feelings. And we also have this Page of Hazards there. And since that card appears in this spread, this would suggest that the individual who has romantic feelings for you will express his or her interest. It seems that it's going to come either via a card or love letter or possibly even an email. Okay? We also have another interesting combination. We have the Six of Cups, and we also have the Six of Hazards. Okay? So that shows a relationship, perhaps one of your relationships that you're in, Gemini, because it looks like it's several ongoing, perhaps, experiences that you've been having. But this connection shows that perhaps someone that you've been dealing with for some time now, it shows that the relationship really does have a potential to kind of go the distance. Okay? And then we have the Six of Cups there, and let's combine that card with the Sun, okay? And that even, Gemini, will show a soulmate connection. And it shows that you are already with a soulmate, or you will soon meet him or her, okay? It looks like the person that perhaps that you've been dealing with for some time is more so like a soulmate type connection with you. And it looks like these past lovers that are kind of resurfacing. These are the ones that it looks like that you're going to be having a lot of somewhat problems with, because it looks like that they've come back into your life somewhat to kind of use you, So watch out for that. Okay. Now we have the Devil here. And let's combine that with the High Priestess. So, Gemini, that shows there may be some codependency issues present in your relationship. It kind of shows or indicates, really an overbearing or a power-driven partner. And it could be even perhaps female dominance, because we have the High Priestess here. Okay. Let's go on and look at another combination. We have the Devil card there, and we have the Six of Hazards. So that denotes, it can even denote corruption or even bribery in some way by someone. Okay. We also have the Devil once again. Okay. And we have the Ace of Swords. So that shows a fear of violence or the ability to kind of commit violence that might be lurking in your relationship. We also have the Devil, and we have the Queen of Hazards. So that often represents a Capricorn woman, or it could possibly be a man. But it could just as easily be a Capricorn male, right? Okay. Now we have the High Priestess. And then we have the Page of Hazards. So, Gemini, that shows a mystical person, you know, or a private study in the mystical arts that perhaps you're doing or want to do. Okay. We also have the Page of Hazards. And let's combine that with the Devil. Okay. So that clearly denotes the sign of Capricorn. Okay. So, Gemini, let's go on and get right into your reading. Okay. Let's start by looking at the bottom card here. We have the King of Wands here. And so, Gemini, that represents a fire sign. It could be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And Gemini, this card is all about self-assertion and ambition. It's all about business, planning, developing, and really in future unfoldment. Gemini says that you're going to feel that you have no one to lean on for comfort and really nowhere to kind of turn for help or support. And it also tells you, Gemini, that your action, decision, or opinion is going to really be the deciding factor in a relationship, you know. And it really tells you that if the fruit of the tree is gone in one of your relations, it's really time to move on. You know, however, a new relationship or perhaps a strengthened one is in the process, perhaps, of being established. Okay? Let's move right along, Gemini, and just look at your card number 1. And that card falls as a central issue, you know, of your relationship. And the Devil appears there. So clearly this card shows that someone could be potentially trying to use you. And I think it's more so, you know, all these suitors that are kind of coming back into your life. And Gemini, I think you know that, you know, they're really trying to use you or whatnot. You know, use your head, not your heart, Gemini. We're the smartest signs out there. Okay? So, Gemini, just to get more specific with this card, you know, this card, it certainly clearly denotes a Capricorn, okay? And I have seen it sometimes to represent a Libra. But most of the time, it's a Capricorn type personality. And, you know, those born under this sign, really, they're very cautious. They're quiet and they're resolute. And they tend to be very persistent, conventional, and sometimes quite ambitious with great self-discipline. But can be mean and very inflexible. So the Devil, Gemini, in this astrological aspect, says that following convention and social norm rigidly, you may be denying yourself happiness. It shows that your love affair is symbiotic or otherwise out of balance. The relationship may be a bit abusive, or one of you acts as the other enabler. That's what I'm feeling for the other's addiction. And this card indicates an entirely physical level, which is not necessarily healthy in itself. It really signifies a form of bondage, you know, Gemini, which does not give the necessary freedom for the relationship to develop, you know. It kind of shows that, you know, how you are chained in your current habits or your opinions and behavior. And Gemini, things are not as they appear, and it's really time to kind of let go of what seems to be most important. You know, there is a possibility of defeat and treachery, you know. So, try to ensure that you have all of the facts and really trust no one before taking action, because the past in relation really to this issue is one of attachment and illusion. And things were never as they appeared to be. And until this was kind of discovered, you know, you were kind of chained to perhaps wasteful, you know, behavior and thinking. So that is all, you know, really in the past. And you can kind of move on, Gemini, now knowing that everything that needs to be known, you know, has been brought out into the light. And you really should start to set your sights on the material things in life for once. Because really it is time to kind of get real and down and dirty with your life. You know, and this potentially may seem self-indulgent, but it is really time to be selfish for once, Gemini. So simply put, you know, I see that this card kind of says you want to shake off adversity or in a negative condition, and that you perhaps might still carry the flame up for a love interest and hope to recover what was lost from again and again. However, at present, I feel that any attempts at unions or perhaps reconciliation with perhaps one of your past lovers is perhaps going to be blocked, because it looks like because of this you're going to begin to realize really what works really for you and really what doesn't. So let's move right along and look at how your lover sees you. And the Sun card shows up in that position. So this card rules Leo and, sun deities, and mostly male, so that the Sun planet card kind of focuses mainly on the yang, or the male energies in both men and women. It is associated with power, creativity, vision, health, and really the life force, Geminis, but also arrogance. So the Sun in its astrological aspect says you should really be confident in believing your own abilities. And on a more profound level, it represents conciliation and really symbolizes a decisive step in the development, Geminis, of one's awareness towards the wisdom of simplicity. Therefore, you see your lover, as warm-hearted or optimistic, generous, and as someone who has a very good attitude towards you. However, he or she might be a bit arrogant and might come across as being more superior to you in a sense. So this card says that if you need someone to count on, you can certainly count on the person that you're with. Okay? So let's see how you really see your lover. We have the Six of Hazards there. So this 6 denotes an Earth-type temperament. It could be a Capricorn, Taurus, or a Virgo. And this 6 is all about helpful support, or generosity, and in the wilder sense, tolerance. Therefore, your lover sees you as generous, benevolent, and kind of willing to help as much as possible. It's also plausible, Gemini, that your partner might be in a difficult situation at present and will be more than happy, perhaps if you offer a helping hand. Let's move right along and look at your card in position 4. And Gemini, this is going to discuss the unknown influences of your relationship. And we have the Ace of Swords there. So, of course, that represents an air sign, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. So, one of those signs, could be lurking, or could be also in your relationship that, or perhaps you want to reunite with them, and maybe you haven't as yet. But with that said, Airy Ace, Gemini, indicates a good opportunity that really ought to be seized upon, because it really offers new perspectives and new possibilities. So this ace really therefore symbolizes really a chance to kind of make an important finding, really, and a smart, clear, liberating decision, because really in keeping with the cool, airy, quality of the swords, then, the rational side kind of takes the foreground in this context. So therefore, this card, it indicates a need to kind of communicate clearly and really to establish in reality really your own thinking about what is required from the relationship. So this card, shows the timing is right to kind of take action, even if it appears somewhat forthright. It also suggests that we must take the rose by the stem, Gemini, even if we will be damaged by storms. Thus it pretty much says that you're going to kind of get what you want, and really despite apparent odds, you're really on a course that's so strong, it's kind of destined to succeed. And nothing certainly is going to halt or divert you. But certainly expect to hear a voice from your past, as well as really expect to get an unexpected message, call perhaps, or a response from someone who has a crush on you, or perhaps who loves you. And this card asks you to kind of have faith in yourself, Geminis, and know that tension are going to definitely ease off. And you're going to have a renewed sense of clarity about yourself and the world around you. Let's go on to your 5th card and look at where you want the relationship to go. And we have the Page of Hazards there. And that represents an earth sign. It could be a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. And this card, Gemini, is all about romantic endeavors, mental labor, practical idealism, and dynamic efforts. So it shows that you want to kind of bring new life into this relationship, making it really more concrete and stable. But it looks like you might be waiting or on a phone call or a letter, or perhaps waiting for the other person to kind of approach you. Okay? And you might even soon begin to ask yourself, how you should handle this situation. So therefore, this card says, really realize the futility of effort. If something is meant to be, it's going to come on its own accord. And when you really stop seeking, searching, and expecting, it certainly is going to begin to happen. Move on to your sixth card, Gemini. We have the Six of Cups here. So this six, has its connection with the past, and of course it does represent a water type temperament as well. So it symbolizes, happy memories or concrete encounters with persons, places, or events, of one's past. So this card kind of places emphasis, and not on really nostalgic attitude where one clings to old times, but really on enriching experiences that should encourage one to pick up really old matter, again in a productive way, and to try to carry them through to completion, Gemini. So therefore, with that said, happiness can kind of come from many sources, whether it's one that you've really named or not. And realize that God works in mysterious ways, Just because no one sees things the way you do or things don't really appear to be working out, don't think that this is really real and God or the miraculous is not. This card is kind of urging you to cultivate a habit, Gemini, by applying your metaphysical knowledge, to your everyday experiences, by really kind of trying to turn within instead of barricading God with stress. It will become more real to you if you try to do that. Try to relax and let ideas come and go. And really, when the right one comes, you're certainly going to know what to do. Okay? Let's move on and look at your card that falls in position 7, and it represents the challenges in your relationship. And that card is the High Priestess. So, with this card, the moon rules Cancer. So, the moon influences the tide. So there's also a hypothesis, Gemini, that if this really affects, the flow of energies in women, and to a lesser degree, men. So really, the classical goddess Diana, she was the sister of the sun god Apollo. She was worshipped as the moon in all of her aspects. So the moon is concerned with instincts, dreams, imagination, and really the cycles of life, especially Gemini fertility, but also with illusion, and is also associated really with the yin, the animal, or really female energies in men and women. Therefore, this card, in its astrological aspect, talks about really the importance, Gemini, of rising above really any potential conflict or patterns, and really it's kind of urging you to listen to your own inner voice and accepting that everything has the right time to happen if one waits, And it says, above all, try to keep your counsel. So because of its association with sleep, Geminis, and dreams, and really the unconscious, the appearance of this card can indicate really a period of protracted anxiety that kind of tends to lead, to restless nights. So therefore, try confronting and overcoming your apprehension really through the use perhaps of meditation or dream therapy. And try to open up to your dark side, Accept your weaknesses, Gemini, and embrace your imperfections, because only by bringing your fears into the light really can you kind of hope to overcome them, Additionally, the challenge of your current issue, Gemini, looks like it's more of a refusal to kind of see beyond the current concern. And what seems to be happening now is really part of a bigger change that is kind of going on in your life. And it's not yet over. In fact, it may just be the beginning. So make this High Priestess and kind of sit above the situation, Gemini. Rise above it, And this challenge certainly is going to be met. It's asking you to kind of pull back the curtain and kind of face the day. So therefore, I'm feeling that the flow of the next few months, is going to be mysterious and wonderful. Because the High Priestess has a robe like, you will see how this pattern is going to manifest in your life. Okay? Taking you really to unexpected directions. So this card is kind of asking you to go with the flow. So again, the past in relation to this issue, it seems to be one of silence and secrecy. So it looks like there was a lot that was hidden and veiled from you, Geminis, and only recently discovered, With this moving now into your past, I feel that you're going to have a chance to kind of retune yourself to all that is now the case and kind of begin to move on. But, Gemini, this journey is still going to be more inwardly directed for a while. So do not really expect to kind of make many changes of the outside just yet. You know, you should just set your sight really on trying to discover, you know, all that is hidden from you and kind of connecting to your own issue with intuition, because you're being asked to meet your own needs and requirements, and then try to aim to really, you know, trust, you know, your gut instincts. Because if you feel kind of off being or off course, Gemini, then set your, you know, your sights again with your own internal compass. You know, keep checking that you are going with the flow and not really fighting against it, because if it is a struggle, you're not going the right way, you know. So the resources I feel that you can draw upon kind of include the mysterious depths, really, of your own unconscious mind. You know, find unexpected help and assistance from strange happenings, perhaps weird coincidences, or profound synchronicities. In dreams, perhaps symbols, and perhaps visions. So look for this card that's kind of empowering you, Gemini, to succeed really in the most unusual ways. Because this card message is kind of hidden, yet it's clear, you know. And you are kind of being helped in ways, Gemini, that you really don't see. So those around you really see that you have a clear idea of what is kind of going on, and perhaps you yourself think. So it may be that others come to you for advice and you have no idea about what's and the whys at times. So what I'm feeling is that others can kind of sense that you are truly really in touch with yourself, you know, really in this matter, and it's really important for you to kind of share that intuition. So the current concerns I'm feeling that you have, which are not actual, look like they are those that really are based on your intuition. And sometimes, Gemini, your gut feelings can be off-center, you know. And this may be a time when the truth of the matter is not what you really feel deep down. So it's really, I feel, time to kind of check your facts and make sure that you know everything about the situation really before jumping to a conclusion. You know? So the overarching message is to summarize really by this mysteriousness of this high priestess. You know, it is really she who holds the law. And Gemini, her decisions tend to be final. So the result certainly is going to be up to you. You know, it's going to be as it should be, pretty much, with all sides that appears that they're going to be balanced and everything taken into account, and even those things hidden. So it will all come. So in short, you are blocking this card, Gemini, by perhaps being a bit too extroverted and forceful. Or you might be gossiping and telling everybody all of your innermost secrets, which you should stop. Or being loud and not discreet. And also tackles and compromising others' privacy when you do this. Let's look at your last card, Gemini. This is a likely outcome here. And we have the Queen of Hazards. And of course, this card usually denotes an earth sign. It could be a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. But I also associate this card at times with Aquarius. So therefore, this card indicates dependability in a domestic. You know, while it may not be really the most exciting card to have in a relationship reading, Gemini, it shows a strong foundation, you know, upon which you can build a solid relationship. It also symbolizes the importance of the feminine principle in a relationship. So associated with beautiful women, or possibly, you know, handsome men who are kind of irresistibly attractive. So this queen kind of personifies passion. It personifies desire and really the heat of sexual love. So not that this kind of person is easy to get into your bed, but once they are, he or she is kind of giving and loving spirited. So even though he or she may be a seductive enchantress, an enchanter, or enchanter who is kind of confident of his or her sexuality, you know, he or she is also discriminating as to whom he or she allows to his or her body. So therefore, Gemini, this card says, keep following your own star and you're going to really get your wish. You know, you may have to wait a while, but what you want is going to come, and things are really working out better and faster than you kind of think. And problems that really look like mountains are certainly going to prove to be molehills. So try to clarify your objectives. And when faced, Geminis, with circumstances you previously, you know, have been under, try to recognize it as an opportunity to kind of be at cause instead of effect and press through it. You know, because you are, in fact, going to attain some results for your long, sustained efforts. But you'll have more to go before major results can be realized, or you're firmly established really in the place that you want to be. However, though you're going to be somewhat moody, I feel that you're going to soon break out into a smile. It looks like perhaps an admirer may be trying to reach out to you soon. But, just to give you some parting advice, Gemini, prior to closing out this reading, I added up all of the numbers here, and your quintessence or your numerical theme, results in 4 for the Emperor. So, the final advice really for you is to kind of persevere really in actualizing your plans, but also to really analyze the issue in a sober and a realistic way. And then, Gemini, try to do what has to be done without any illusion or really taking unnecessary risks. So, Gemini, this is what I have for you as I advised from the onset. This romance reading is valid until the end of the month. And as always, I look forward to hearing your comments. And as with any reading, Gemini, this may not resonate for everyone. But those for whom this reading is meant, I certainly hope that it has provided food for thought. And Gemini, remember, if you have yet to subscribe, please take a moment to do that now. Thanks a lot. And I look forward to posting more interesting readings for you. Enjoy your day.